All right. Welcome to the GRadulting Workshop Series. My name is Debbie McCutsky, and I am the Coordinator of Services and Programs for Graduate Student Legal Aid. On behalf of the Grad Legal Aid team, I'm happy to see you on Zoom, and I welcome those who are also watching this on YouTube. So today's workshop is, how do I select auto and renter's insurance? So before we dive into the workshop, I want you to know that Legal Aid is here to help you. We have a variety of services, and you have already paid for them because you have paid your graduate student fee. So what do? Well, we have this GRadulting Workshop Series, and we've got 2 more workshops this semester. We do legal consultations on general matters. We also do legal consultations on immigration matters. We have advocacy for students who are charged by the university. And Simone Durham, one of our grad student advocates, is with us today. Thank you, Simone. I am a notary, so I can help you with that service. And right now, that is our only in-person service. So if you are interested in our office and these services, take a look at our website. And on there, you will find instructions for how to request an appointment. So just a little bit of housekeeping. You'll see that automatic closed captioning has been enabled for those who want to read along. Near the end of the workshop, we'll post a link to a survey. We want to know how we're doing, so please take a minute to fill it out. We will email links to the survey, the slides, and the recording either this afternoon or tomorrow morning to everyone who registered. And we welcome your questions and your comments at the workshop today. The speaker will address them after her presentation. But if you're thinking of something and you want to go ahead and put it in the chat, we will be sure to address that at the end of the presentation. So moving on. I am pleased to introduce our speaker. Her name is Gia Wilkerson, and she is an outreach staffer with the Maryland Insurance Administration. Welcome, Gia.
Thank you so much, Debbie, for having me and for that wonderful introduction.
You're welcome. So please take it away. Tell us about the Maryland Insurance Administration, and then we all want to know about auto insurance and renter's insurance.
All right, so I am going to share my screen so we can get started with the presentation. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. It's not, I don't know what's happening. Okay, I may just have to go to each one because it's not letting me get to the view. Okay, but in the meantime,
go down to the bottom, and the very bottom where it says notes, comments, go to the right, and then you want to go to the right one more, go to the right, go to the right.
One more?
Yeah, no, one more to the right.
Yes, that's
there
it.
We go.
Okay.
Is that what you were looking for?
Yes, I have all of these other like Zoom pop-ups everywhere, and I'm scared to touch something. I don't want to leave you guys.
No, I know. Well, success.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Okay, so as Debbie mentioned, I am with the Maryland Insurance Administration. I have had the pleasure of being with the administration for 8 years now. A little bit about the administration. We are the state agency that regulates the insurance industry here in Maryland. So we license insurers and insurance producers, better known as agents or brokers. We examine the business practices of licensees to ensure compliance. We monitor for solvency of insurers. We review, approve, sometimes maybe deny insurance policy forms. We review the insurance rates to ensure rates are not inadequate, excessive, or unfairly discriminatory. And last but not least, we investigate consumer and provider complaints and allegations of fraud. So that means for you, if you ever have to file a claim, have a complaint, denial, issues, or just questions about your policy, we would be the agency to call. We regulate everything but Medicare and Medicaid because those fall under the federal umbrella. So what is auto insurance? We all drive now, or we see a lot of more cars on the street now, and under Maryland law, you should have auto insurance, which is a contract between yourself and the insurer that protects you against financial loss. In exchange for the premium that you pay, the insurer agrees to pay for certain covered losses under the description of your policy. Liability insurance protects policyholders and other insurers when they cause an accident. There are two types of liability coverage: bodily injury liability and then property damage liability. Bodily injury is going to protect you or the driver of your car that causes an accident, and if someone is injured and files a claim or a lawsuit against you. Unless the driver is excluded or does not have reasonable belief, they are entitled to drive your car. Property damage is going to protect your car if you cause an accident resulting in damage to someone else's property, like another vehicle or other property such as a fence or home, unless the driver of your car is excluded or does not have a reasonable belief they are entitled to drive your vehicle. So excluded means that someone has signed a policy stating that they will not allow you to drive their car. Once they sign that and you get into an accident with their car, that means that damage will not be covered. In Maryland, you may hear them say 30, 60, 15. So Maryland law requires all registered vehicles to have a minimum of $30,000 for bodily injury per person, $60,000 bodily injury per accident, and $15,000 property damage. Uninsured motorist coverage protects you and other insurers under your policy terms when an accident is caused by a driver who does not have insurance coverage. So that means they don't have enough liability insurance coverage, or when the owner of the at-fault vehicle cannot be identified, such as a hit and run or a phantom vehicle. So what happens if your auto insurance coverage lapses? In Maryland, if your auto insurance coverage lapses, the MVA will assess a penalty for every day that you do not maintain minimum coverage. You can find out more details on the Motor Vehicle Administration's website. Collision coverage. This is an optional coverage that you purchase to provide for payment of property damage to your insured vehicle from a collision with another vehicle or object, such as a car or, say, a deer. If you are in an accident and have collision coverage, your insurer will pay to repair your vehicle or will pay you what your vehicle was worth right before the accident occurred if your vehicle is deemed a total loss. Comprehensive coverage pays for damage to your car resulting from causes other than a collision, like vandalism, theft. Typically, both have a deductible. So when it comes to insurance coverage, comprehensive coverage provides the coverage of property damage to your insured vehicle resulting from occurrences other than collision, such as I mentioned, in addition to glass breakage not resulting from an accident, and if you were to hit hit an animal such as a deer. PIP, also known as personal injury protection, is going to provide you with reimbursement for medical expenses resulting from your accident to yourself, your passengers, or if a pedestrian is struck by your vehicle. It will also cover any lost wages and other related expenses caused by the motor vehicle accident. Maryland law requires insurers to offer policyholders at least $2,500 in PIP. You may now also elect to purchase limited PIP coverage or even fully waive PIP altogether. So how are insurance premiums developed? We get this question all the time. There is a wide variety of criteria that insurers use to predict the likelihood that you are going to cause an accident or file a claim. Some of them include age, sex, your marital status, the number of miles you drive annually, your driving record, your credit history, the purpose of use for your vehicle, the location of where your vehicle is garaged or where you park your car, your driving experience, and your claims history. We also have a video on our website on how does an auto insurer determine your premium. I will mention our website is full of great information if you ever get the time to check it out. We have all of our educational materials, and then some commonly asked questions, And it'll also take you to our YouTube page where we have more videos as well. We encourage all Maryland insurers, even if you love your auto insurance company, to comparison shop at least once a year. And you can do that by looking to see if you can obtain the same coverages that you have from another insurer at a lower cost. When you do so, make sure that you are asking for the same exact types of coverages and the same deductibles with the same coverage limits. Make sure that you provide each insurer with as much accurate information as possible, and ask about any deductibles that may apply as well. This is the cover page of our auto insurance comparison guide to rates. We publish this twice a year. It's updated every year in February and August. It can also be found on our website. It includes all of the phone numbers, websites, and contact information for all of the insurers that we regulate in Maryland. It's broken down by county, zip code, and scenario to give you an idea of how much you should be paying annually. It also provides you with a worksheet to compare up to 3 different companies and to make sure that you're asking them the same exact information and giving them the same exact information to get an accurate quote. So considerations for young adults and college students, including our graduate students, because I believe we are all young adults at heart. If you have a car at school, make sure that the insurer knows where your car is going to be parked. Generally, an insured is required to notify the insurer whenever there is a change in policy information, including where your car is going to be parked. Also, different states have different levels of minimum coverage, and it's important to comply with the coverage minimums in the state you are living in. Another factor to consider is who is the legal owner of the car. If the car is titled in a parent's name, then the parent will likely need to insure the vehicle. You may be able to stay on your parent's insurance policy as a listed or named driver. You need to contact your insurer to make sure. Also, while in school, it's very important to keep a clean driving record. It can make a big difference in your rates. Drivers with accidents and moving violations generally pay more for insurance, and young adults are already facing high rates due to inexperience. Remember, if you are insured under a parent's auto insurance policy, your driving record may also affect your parent's insurance rates. So when I spoke about the excluded driver, for example, as a young adult myself, I did have a time in my life where I was an excluded driver from my parents' policy, and they had to sign the form saying that I was not going to drive their car, because if they kept me on the policy, it either risked them having their policy terminated or their policy being increased. If you are a student and plan to buy or lease a car, it's a good idea to choose carefully. Certain vehicles cost more to insure. Ask your insurer whether there are any discounts that might be available to you, such as good driver discounts, multi-policy, multi-vehicle, or protective device. Not all insurers offer the same discounts. And then the last 2 auto insurance tips: keep a good credit rating, pay your bills on time, don't go crazy with your credit card. Your credit score can affect your premium rate when you buy a new policy. And again, keep your grades up. These are some of the publications that we have on our website: A Consumer Guide to Auto Insurance. This goes more in depth to talk about Maryland law when it comes to auto insurance, the different types of coverages that we just discussed. Tips on shopping for automobile insurance that can help you when you're comparison shopping. Understanding your automobile insurance declaration page. This is an example of the declaration page you receive from your auto insurance company, either annually or every 6 months, to give you an idea of what the terminology actually means and what your coverages are and what you're paying for. And the auto insurance, a comparison guide to rates, was last updated in August. That's the one that I showed you, that's broken down by county, zip code, and scenario to give you an idea of how much you should be paying. And then lastly, an insurance preparedness guide for national disasters. This guide is good not only for auto insurance, but also for renters and homeowners insurance. It goes more in depth to talk about your coverages in relation to natural disasters, but also gives you a space in the back to create a home inventory checklist, which we'll talk more about when we get into renters insurance. So now, what is renters insurance? Perhaps you may live in a dorm, you may live in an apartment with a couple of friends, or you may still live at home with your parents, but wherever it is, you are likely to have a laptop, furniture, electronics, maybe a bicycle or other equipment for outdoor activities. Items you keep in a rented apartment, house, dorm room, or rented room in someone else's home generally will not be protected against loss or damage unless you have a renter's insurance policy in your name. If you are a student living on campus or school-owned housing, your belongings may be covered under your parents' homeowners insurance policy, depending upon the terms of their policy. So it's a good idea to check with your parents' homeowners insurer or insurance producer, such as their agent or broker, to find out if the policy will cover your personal property while you are away at school. So what does a renter's insurance policy actually cover? Loss or damage to household contents or personal possessions. It can cover everything from electronics to clothing to household appliances. Even a minimal number of items could add up to thousands of dollars worth of personal property, which can be covered in a basic renter's insurance policy, such as your tube of toothpaste or even your cleaning materials. Many policies do not limit protection to your belongings located in your home or apartment. So say you have some items that are often kept in your car. If they are stolen by someone who breaks into your car, or if they are damaged by a covered pearl while not on your property, this will be covered under your renter's insurance. Additional living expenses in the event of a covered loss that makes your home uninhabitable, such as a fire. If there is damage to the building you're renting and you must live somewhere else while the building is being repaired or you have to relocate, you will generally have coverage for additional living expenses incurred during this time period, subject to the limits of your policy. Liability coverage for injuries to others and their property caused by your negligence, and payments for coverage for others that are hurt while on your property, even if it's not your fault. A renter's insurance policy usually covers your personal property and your personal legal responsibility for injuries to others damaged to their property. So perils, what perils are covered under your renter's insurance policy? When shopping around for renter's insurance, it's important that you understand what perils are covered. A peril is such as fire, wind, hail, theft, and or vandalism that can cause damage are covered by your policy. Some policies cover multiple perils while others cover only one specific peril. If your home is damaged by a peril that is not named in your policy, then the damage will not be covered. So for example, if you have a policy that says only one peril will be covered, such as fire, and you have wind damage, then your insurer will not pay to repair the damages caused by the wind damage. A policy that only covers one peril will likely be less expensive than one that covers multiple perils, but it's essential that you understand the limitations of your policy. Although a policy that only covers one peril may cost less upfront, it may not provide sufficient coverage. For example, recently in Baltimore, some apartments were damaged by a windstorm. Many of the tenants did have renter's insurance, but it only covered one peril, which was fire. So although their belongings were destroyed in the windstorm, they were not covered under their renter's insurance policy. How much coverage do I need for my household property? This depends on the value of your personal property. You should start by making an inventory checklist, which will help determine the value of that property. So you can make an inventory checklist just by using your cell phone or video camera, going throughout your home room by room. You can open up all of your cabinets, pull out all of your drawers. It doesn't have to be fancy, but just as you're walking through, group the items in categories, or you can do it room by room, and then mention what each item is, just so that you know for yourself, because that will help to make it easier for you to file an accurate and detailed insurance claim in the event that something does happen. As you buy additional things, bring them home, put the receipt next to the item, and either take a picture or video. Store those pictures and videos somewhere safe, cloud, Google Drive, or in a fireproof or safety deposit box. What does actual cash value and replacement cost value mean? Actual cash value provides coverage with the cost to replace your personal property up to the limits of the insurance policy minus depreciation for age and condition. Replacement cost coverage provides you with the cost of replacing the damaged, destroyed property up to the policy limits without any deduction for depreciation. So actual cash value, if you buy your cell phone today for $200, and then say 200 years from now, something happens to it and you have to file a claim, then they are going to pay you the $200 minus depreciation for age and condition, which means that $200 cell phone may now only be $75. Replacement cost value, it will be replaced at $200 because there will be no deduction for depreciation. When I was a homeowner, my policy didn't cover damage caused by earthquakes or flood. Is it the same with renter's insurance policy? Damages for earthquakes or flood are generally not covered by a renter's insurance policy, but many policies may be available to you as separate policies. The NFIP or National Flood Insurance Program provides flood insurance in many areas. For more information, feel free to speak with your insurance agent or producer or visit their website. How much does renter's insurance cost? This is one of the biggest questions that we're asked. And in comparison to the amount of valuables that you own, I feel as though renter's insurance is relatively cheap because it costs a lot when you sit down and think about the amount of things that you own and replacing them all at once. However, the actual cost depends upon the amount of coverage that you want, the type of coverage, whether it be replacement cost value or actual cash value, and the deductible that you select. The average renter's insurance policy costs between $15 and $30 per month. Replacing all of your possessions or being liable for an accident on your premises will cost much more. Are discounts available? Insurers will often reduce your premiums if you have fire or burglar alarms, fire extinguishers, sprinkler systems, and or deadbolts on exterior doors. Some insurers might also offer discounts if you have more than one policy with them, such as an umbrella policy. So if you have auto and renter's insurance with them. Property damage liability waiver. We've received several inquiries or complaints from consumers regarding this waiver when they've moved into certain properties because they were under the impression that this was a renter's insurance. Your property management company or landlord may require that you purchase a property damage liability waiver or PDLW, or include a fee for a PDLW as part of your rent. It is important to know that this is not renter's insurance and typically will not cover any of your belongings. This generally only covers damage to the building and may only apply to certain types of events, such as a fire, smoke, explosions, or leaking water. We also have a comparison guide for renter's insurance, similar to the one that we have for auto. Comparison shopping is the key to getting the most out of your insurance dollar. Tips for getting the most out of your insurance shopping. Make sure you provide the same information to each insurer or insurance producer. Ask about discounts, ask about deductibles and when they apply. Ask about what is covered, what is excluded. In addition to price, consider factors such as coverage limits and customer service. Also, ask your friends and neighbors about their experience with different insurers. So this guide is just used for educational purposes only. This is the front cover of our renter's insurance comparison guide, which is also updated twice a year. This was recently updated in August, and it can be found on our website. And it's the same. We also have one for homeowners insurance that's a little bit bigger, but the renter's insurance information is in the back of that guide, starting with scenario 6. And if you have questions, you can always reach us at any time. We're here to assist you with all of your insurance needs. These are our contact numbers and our website, and then we're on all of the social medias. And now we can do questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Gia.
I know that was a lot.
But it was a lot of great information.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions? I know we only have one student synchronously here, but do you have any questions for her? No? Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Gia, for joining us today. And thank you for those of you who are here and to those of you who will watch later on YouTube. We will have the slides available as a resource for you on our website, and they will be sent out via email to those of you who registered. So be on the lookout for that. We do ask that you complete our workshop evaluation survey. As Debbie said at the beginning, we really like to know how we're doing and get your feedback. So I've just put the link to that in the chat. Next week workshop is what do I do in a police encounter? So this can be very important information that we hope you guys will join us for. And last but not least, if you want to know what's going on with legal aid, I just put the link to sign up for our weekly e-newsletter in the chat, which will always tell you what the upcoming workshops are and everything like that. And other than that, that is it for us. So I hope everybody has a good week. And as always, let us know how legal aid can help you. And Gia, thank you so much once again.
Thank you again for having me. And tomorrow we're going to have a lunch with Mia, what you need to know before picking a health plan. It's from 12 to 1. I'm trying to see if I can actually find the flyer to post. So we do these about, I want to say once a month, and they're always on different topics, but we also save them as well on our website because like I was saying, it is hard to get people in. And of course, it's not popping up. But I'll send that to you guys as well. Thank you, William.
I will put that in the follow-up email so that people have
Okay.
access to it.
Okay.
Right.
Are you copied on the email with Debbie?
No, but I'll put my email.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you to everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, everybody. Happy holidays.